Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching me from. How are you doing today? Welcome to my live program. This program is known as Know Your Budget. And as usual, this program is sponsored by Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria. And I still remain your humble anchor, Miss Faith Iyasa. So today, we can look at my screen. We are talking about what is the amount of money causing a controversy between the government and ASU. So before I take you through this process, let's take a short break. Welcome back. So we could recall that on the 14th of February 2022, as embarked a strike which have lasted from the February up to today's October. And so our question is, what is the amount of money? What was the agreement? And when was the agreement broken? And why are the students still at home? What are the effects that this strike have caused to both the students and the society at large? So before I go on, let me bring on a guest. It's a usual face, and you all know him. Let me bring him up before I introduce him. Good morning and welcome to my live program, Chief Benjamin Owecho Obe.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, Faith.
Yes, you are always our guest that don't tell us any excuse at all, and we appreciate that. Anytime you are here, we feel like we are covered.
Thank you very much.
So welcome, and if you can read my screen, we are asking of the big amount of money that is causing the controversy between the government and ASU. So on the February this year, ASU embarked on a strike which have lasted from the 14th of February up to date. So it keeps Nigeria wondering how much is the ASU asking, and why is it so much for the government of Nigeria to pay off this money, even considering the fact that they were in agreement. I think in 2009 they had an agreement. And that is why ASU too is standing on its ground that federal government must fulfill this agreement, because over time we have seen where ASU go on strike 3, 4, 5 months, they return 3, 4, 5 months. The government keep promising them that our agreement still stands from 2009. So that is what we are here to talk about today. Do you also have things bothering you about what we are talking about? Remember, we asked some questions. How much are they asking for? Why is it too much for them to pay? And what was the agreement, and when was it broken? And what has it cost the society?
Okay, thank you very much. I think I had this discussion with a friend some days back. And when we're talking about it and what was talking, I just told him that people will say billion, people will say this, people will say that. But what I believe, the amount of money for me is sincerity. Lack of sincerity. Lack of keeping to your word. Lack of interest in the development of the university. If we're looking at the money, is it up to the 90 billion or 100 billion that's been stolen by Accountant General, and the man is on bail today? So it's quite unfortunate that we look more about the money. I think it's in billions. But what they are really saying is not about the money. There are other conditions attached to it. Well, my sister, let me tell you something. It's sincerity failure that is the problem for me. If you
Mm.
toast a woman and you take the woman, you deceive the woman, you take the woman out today. Tomorrow again, you deceive that woman, you take her. The third time or the fourth time, you must face the war. ASU have just
Yes.
been used by the government. And
Mm.
constantly they will just come, they put pressure on them, and before you know, they just come off and the thing is off. But unfortunately, this time around, I think they go on the hard note. If you check all those in the government, none of their children is in Nigeria, or probably they are all in
Mm.
private universities. So they don't bloody care about the other people's children. But there are two ways, two sides of the coin. I believe that the labor has also failed because the essence of the labor is to press forward with ASU. If labor has joined the strike, the electricity, the other companies join the strike, the government will do what they are supposed to do. But
Mm.
labor has completely failed, and for me, I just feel they are compromised because they are just there looking like Lucozade. Labor has failed.
Yes.
This is where the
I agree with
labor
you.
is supposed to come in, and not just the labor alone. The other civil society, they are just
Mm.
allowing us to move alone in the quest for all this. If a
Exactly.
university professor cannot have money to pay the child's school fee in a public
Mm.
school, and
It's
then you
very
see
unfortunate.
all these our bandits in quotes or criminals in quotes in government.
Mm.
Because for me,
Yes.
the bandits and the kidnappers they are talking, they are not the one in the bush. They are the one in the government. Because the one in the
Exactly.
government, they kidnapped our money. The bandits,
Exactly.
they relay our money and relay the progress of others. So I believe that the system has completely failed. It's not the
Mm.
money that's the problem now. It's the failure of the system. And why the government don't care or they are dragging in such a way is because none of their children is in this public university. The universities that are on
Exactly.
track, none of them.
I
They
agree
are all
with
in
you.
private. They are all in private universities. So if they
Yes.
like, they stay out 2 years, 3 years. We've had us when
It's
we're in the
none of their
university
business.
that
Yes.
will lost a whole year from a system, and then later you just come, and one human being will say lazy youth, one adult, overgrown adult will say they are lazy youth. If you don't have, if you don't train these children well, and your own children school abroad or they go to better education, in as much as you preach integrity, this thing is showing on your own children. You should
Exactly.
that should be a foundation. So if you are cooking for a blind man, you have to whistle so that he knows that you
Exactly.
are not eating. But this money that is involved, I don't think it's too much for the government. But for me,
Mm.
it's going to affect their stealing pattern because they must have added it to a budget of what they can steal, or they have stolen the money, so they don't have anywhere to go and pluck it out from. They've shared it among themselves. And most importantly, election is coming, so they hoard this money so that they can use it to rig or buy votes during
Buy
election.
votes. Yes.
So as to strike for me don't mean anything to them. I don't think it means anything to them. If not that money, the billions or how many billions they're looking for is too small. It's not even billion that you say, okay, you have to take and put in your pocket among yourself share. No. We used to have
Yes.
our schools sometimes where when they talk about strike like this, they call them the push Ghana must go before you know they settle down. But I believe
They
that
settle down.
this one
Yes.
stood their ground. The money they are talking, is it for their personal pocket? No. It's for development and other things. So I believe that if these things were done, let me go back and then it will annoy some people. One of the best times we had good leadership was during Abacha. It will annoy some
Yes.
people, but I don't bloody care. That was when we're moving towards complete nationalism. When we're in the university, you will see the PTF buses, the PTF drugs, the PTF everything. And when you're in the university, you see PTF building and every other thing. You discover that things were working well. We didn't know that this man Buhari will come and then tumble the whole Nigeria upside down, and then make academics irrelevant. Because if others fail, I believe that he is the leader. He's the one that has failed. But the money they are talking about, I think it's in billions, and then the billions is not up to what it's not difficult for the government to pay. So I believe that something is wrong somewhere. It's insensitivity of the government to the plight of the people, and I think their negotiation power is completely not working because of betrayals, and several betrayals have been going on. They've been betrayed severally, and like I gave the example earlier, if you deceive a woman, I use that as an analogy. You can also be a man too. If a woman go carry a man out, go chop the man money one time, you call again, chop the man money twice. He chop the man go get sense now. The same thing with the woman. So the same
But you
thing with
sure
the
say
woman.
we dey get sense for this Nigeria so?
If woman chop you well, you go get sense. Or if man chop you too well, you go get sense. What I mean is that what is happening within the sector. And that's why you see that ASU, they are standing on their ground. Then most
Yeah.
irritating aspect is this court case. I believe that court case don't just end overnight. If
Mm.
the court gives an order that the lecturer should go to the class, they
Yes.
also have the right to appeal. And when they
Yes.
appeal, automatically there will be stay of execution. When they stay of execution, the court case still linger. How long do you think that the case will go on in court? If not
Oh.
because they are making it express, because it concerns on certain things, this kind of a case can last for 2 years. But now ASU is on appeal. So if they are
Mm.
on appeal, automatically the order of the lower tribunal will stay automatically. It
Yes.
cannot go on. So I believe that it's insensitivity, and then those advising the government, for me, they are illegal advisors, or they are unreasonable advisors, or blind man leading another blind man to move.
Seriously.
The,
Illegal
the
advice. I
government,
love that word.
mm, the government, they are supposed to ordinarily be sincere at this time. Look, we are sorry. We have failed you before. This is what we intend to do. Let us try this. I think the lecturers are sensitive. And then I want to appreciate the students, the Nigerian National Association of Nigerian Students. When they started blocking the airport, because that's where those
Yeah.
criminals, sorry, I am sorry to use the word, those our bandits pass and disappear out of Nigeria, go and flange,
You
go
are not
outside
you're
and
not supposed to be sorry. A criminal is
yes.
a criminal. It doesn't matter it's a
Mm.
criminal that is in the bush or a bush or in an office. You are a criminal, you are a criminal. You stolen public fund. That is the biggest criminality.
Okay, let us be this thing, let us say suspected criminals so that the word will be better because, or assumed criminals. You see, when you block the airport anytime,
Mm.
you will see the government to react
Exactly.
anytime because that is their only flying route. That is their only transportation. But if you
Mm.
like go and block motor park, they will even just send the police or the uniform men to come and throw tear gas on you. But
Yes.
anytime you touch airports,
Airport.
you touch
Mm.
their key and sensitive areas, they will react. When the students
Exactly.
started blocking airports in Lagos, then planning blocking, I think, in Abuja too, and then they would have done it all over Nigeria, you will see that the government will act. The government will react. So I believe that they now, they tried, but they still have more work to do because they are supposed to be checked to excesses of government. We are student union leaders. We are one of those who were expelled from the university because of student radicalism, but not radicalism. The government of Benue State then said they have paid us scholarship bursary, and they've not.
Yeah.
That's the government of Group Captain Joshua Obademi, and we demonstrated. The next time we were arrested from government house. The governor said we are thinking that he doesn't wear pants. And then one of us as students now just told him that, well, a guy be like saying they wear pants truly. From there, he said they should go and lock us. From that point, we spent a day in the cell, and then we went to court. We were granted bail. We set up a kangaroo panel and were expelled from the university. 34 of us. We went to the court, won the case, and came back. We
Mm.
stood our ground. But immediately that thing happened, they started paying the bursary. They started paying the bursary.
Yeah.
We were used as sacrifices. We didn't collect the bursary then because were in court and were on rustication and expulsion from the university. But we paid the price. So what the leadership of NAN doing now? They've tried, they started something. If this thing is not working, the NAN should not fold their hands. If I were among them, the first thing you just do, you occupy the road. Go and
Yes.
occupy the airport.
Can you also agree with me that this 200 billion they also are asking, almost that same money was alleged to be in a position of one person, which was the accountant general of the federation. You remember he was paraded for over a 40 million, 40, 80 billion um, misappropriation. When he was
Yeah,
arrested by the EFCC, they said they later discovered another 90 billion. So when you put
yeah.
all this money together, is this money not already close to what Asuu are asking, that in the position of one person in this country? So
Yeah,
now
I said it earlier.
let's talk about the effects of this strike on the Nigerian student and even the society, because when schools are in strike, are in session, people do businesses, things sold,
Yeah.
and everything. So let's talk about the effects that this strike has had on the student, their parents, and the society at large.
Okay, I think let me start from the place you will be very surprised. I have so much, it has so much effect on the Okada.
Mm.
Okadas first. Okadas
Motorcycle riders.
will, yes, motorcycle riders, they will have to move students from their hostels. Some of them even have personal Okadas, you know, will move students from their hostel or those who live outside to the school and so on and other distance. Now go to the market women that they used to buy food stuff from. And then you now
Mm.
move again to this mama put.
Mm.
Those women that selling of food by the roadside is their livelihood. Then before you move to those in school, other ones
Yes.
doing business in school and so many others. So I believe that if the students are in school, because I was a student, at least a university student, and it got to a point where you would see that the economic activities of the school, you see money
Yes.
moving around from one person to the other. That thing has been paralyzed. And then how does
Yeah.
it affect the government? People go to the market from there to buy foodstuff. As they buy foodstuff, if they are coming out, they pay gate fee. That gate fee is supposed to go to the government account. Those money, they
Exactly.
are no longer there. It's affecting the government. And then apart from that, the school fees that is being paid, the tuition and others, it's the money that goes to the government. Those money are now on pause. Because if they've not finished a semester, how can you pay the next money for the semester? It's also affecting the government. That means the government will have to be paying salaries for people who are not in school and then there is no income. It affects the income. And they will ensure that they must pay the salaries of the lecturers, the teachers, the other, what's it called? The laborers, the security, and so many others. So it has so
Are you
much
there?
effect on the effect. Yeah, I'm with you. It has so many effects on the economy of the
Yes.
country. Because when you
Mm.
check about how many universities in Nigeria, and this kind of activities is going on around the universities. There are times where some universities will be on holidays, others will be in school. Some will be on holidays, others in school. Some in first semester, second semester. So these activities are always going on around, and then it has really paralyzed so much and reduced the internally generated revenue of the government,
Yeah.
both the federal and the state, as the case may be. So I believe it has so much effect on people.
On the economy. So
And then,
let's look at another perspective. Since
yeah,
the university staffs are at home from the February till now October, they have not been paid. There have not been salaries that have been paid to them. Maybe because they are not working, the government feel okay, you are not working, no salary for you. Are we not sure? Are we sure these salaries will not later escalate another problem? Because it's very common in our country when you see salaries that are owed for months. When it comes to time for you to pay off the salary, it becomes a problem. So from February at that time till now October, it has piled up to some amount. And you know how much that means pay one lecturer. Even considering that the other time I was talking about ghost workers in the university, where IPPIS took a form to the universities to sign the the agreement they had, and the university said that, look at the staff, the names of this place, these people, they are not the staff of the university. So the IPPIS say, okay, if you don't sign, it means you don't want your money. When there was a minimum wage increment, say if you don't sign, you don't want your money, which means there are still ghost workers even in the universities. So now, are we not sure that at the end of the day, the federal government will go ahead paying these people all their money that they have owed them for over this month? Or we should still be expecting another drama?
well, I think first of all, I fear for the state university, especially my state, Benue State,
Yes.
that if the governor is owing you 1 second salary,
Mm,
you need night vigil, you need divine intervention, you will need to everything on earth to see how you can even access the money.
mm,
Because as that money is being accumulated, the hope and survival of that money is not safe. That is the human being we have at the helm of affairs there. So
mm,
they enjoy owing people.
mm,
So I pity the state, especially Benue State government. So the staff of Benue State University, they may be after they do some states or some of the university may have internal strike. They may have internal strike. There are some that genuinely they may clear them. But I know I fear for my state. If
mm,
pensioners are seen as dead people, they've not been paid for over 20 something months or 3 years. And then
mm,
normal workers, they just give them whatever they take. In fact, they are tired of doing strike in Benue. They're only praying for God intervention to ease
mm.
the evil days out. So that's where the problem is going to come. It's not even going to be on the federal, it's not going to be on any other thing, it's going to be on the state. And secondly, whether they are on strike or not on strike, this money, these allocations have been voted for a whole year for salary.
Yes. Yes.
So every month, this money is taken to one account. It is from that account that the money is disbursed. So there are some states or federal government that they have money is intact. Like in IPPIS, the money for the staff that have been stopped will just be there. You cannot access it, you cannot go and borrow from it. But in Benue, my own Oga will knock at the door. He will invade that money because
Mm,
he has to travel out every time now. He's always going out. These days, he's even a PA to governor of Rivers State, and all
mm.
these things they are doing involves money. So what are we saying? The money is not going to be a problem to some places, but there may be internal crisis within the place because that money will be touched, will be pinched, will be stolen, or that money will be mismanaged. In fact, there are some of them who are even excited that they are still on this strike. They are still excited that they are on strike. So that money, as they are not paying, the survival of that money would have been gone far. So I
How
believe
can
that
you be how can you be thankful that the strike is still on, you know.
Yes, let
It's
me
only
give you
like,
example.
yeah.
Some of the leaders in government, they are happy that the strike is on, especially those who are involved. I gave you example of my state. The governor, because number one, none of his child is schooling in Benue State University or any of these public universities. If they are not
Mm,
abroad, they are in the private university. So they don't bloody care. Not only him, almost all
child.
of them in government, almost all of them. So they don't bloody care. So even if they eat the money, in fact, that money for now, because of the rise in dollar, there's a demand for them to pay more money for their children abroad. So they believe in dipping hand into that money, let whatever will happen, let it happen. And then
Mm,
let the others go to suffer. Meanwhile, the lecturers, okay, now let me give one example. I spoke the other day. I said, what is the psychology of a lecturer who cannot pay his child school fees and then teaching your own child? What will be the
yes.
psychology? It's not to, in fact, some of them, in fact, though, except those with the fear of God, they will teach them nonsense,
Child.
or they will just allow them to float on their own. Because my
Mm,
own child cannot be out while your children are in, then you want me to be
yes,
clapping for you. So I believe
exactly.
that the government and the leader, they are just insensitive. There's going to be a lot of crisis. They will pray they will not be. But those crises
We
will
pray
be
so too.
within the university and will be limited to the university.
We pray so
200
too.
billion.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chief Benjamin Wecho. Our time is fast running, and I
Yeah.
think we have so much limited time into the studio. So Chief Benjamin Wecho have summarizes it all. He said they don't care. Their children are not in the universities in Nigeria here. Most of them that are here, they're in private universities. He also said that when the money time for the government to pay off the money that they are owing all these university lecturers, it may turn another drama. And but we call on the government to not let it be a drama. We are even calling on the government. How much is ASU asking? 200 billion. That one is even using to do one or small project in his or her village. Pay off ASU this morning and let's return back to the class. The students are tired. The parents are tired. You know, a parent now has to go extremely mind to taking care of their children, securing them in Nigeria where the whole place is very insecure. So we are pleading and we are calling on the government. Do the right thing. You will not die. Even if you come out this 200,000, 200 billion, give us. Nothing will shake you. Nothing will shake you. Okay. Even little celebration we are doing in Nigeria here. Today is independent. This one is that. We just celebrated independent. People were jubilating, sending messages, happy independent. What are you happy about over 62 years of no achievement? Rather, you are counting corruption, insecurity, and everything all together. Putting up leaders year in, year out that are looking at how they will steal more than their boss. So what are you celebrating? You should be calling for revolution. You should be calling for the resignation of the government in place. What are you celebrating? Say happy independent. What are you happy about the independent? Are you independent? When you have no job, the one you are working, they are not paying you. Are you independent? Are you an independent person? When you cannot sleep in your own house and leave the door open, when you cannot go on the street or walk on the road free of charge, when you cannot have freedom in your own terrain, in your own country, your own home, you are saying happy independent. Are you independent? So it's time we wake up, we stand up, we start asking questions, we start acting, we start removing all these leaders and putting people. I didn't say you should go in Aso Rock and ask them to go. 2023 is at hand. Go out and vote. Go out and vote. You have done what is it called? PVC. It's at INEC. Go and collect it before they will bury it or use it to ring elections. So a word is enough for the wise. Chief Benjamin Wecho, you are welcome. You are always welcome. And anytime you are here with meaningful comments and contributions to this Know Your Budget project, we always appreciate you, sir. And I want to also remind that Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria will be having a poll this month, October. The flyers will soon be out. We will organize an online poll where we will bring all our presidential aspirants on the poll. You will vote. once you finish voting, whosoever is the winner of the online poll is the person that GCSDM will be campaigning for throughout the campaign. And GCSDM will also be calling on all of you to go out to vote. Let us change this thing once and for all. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate you, Chief Benjamin, once again for
Thank
coming
you.
up here always. We really appreciate you. Please watch out for this program next week, same channels, and you will not be disappointed. In case you have programs or you have issues that are bothering you, you have let's say misappropriation of funds is happening somewhere and maybe we are not aware, we have not brought it up here, please, you can send us message. You can see our even comment, you can even chat us, we'll reply you. Thank you so much. And we say goodbye for today.